Celebrities often get a bad rap for being out of touch with normal people. And while that may be the case in some instances, there are several men and women who have put aside the glamorous lifestyle of Hollywood to serve their nation. Hi, I'm Tim with the Connecticut National Guard. On this episode of The Countdown, we're looking at 20 celebrities who you may not have known served in the military. Number 20, Elvis Presley. In 1958, Elvis Presley had already cemented his legacy as the king of rock and roll. But that didn't stop Uncle Sam from calling his number during the draft. Although he had the opportunity to enlist in the special services to entertain the troops, he opted to enlist as a regular soldier. He served from 1958 to 1960 and was stationed in Germany. Number 19. Kurt Vonnegut. The acclaimed science fiction author enlisted into the Army in March 1943. Vonnegut served in the European theater during World War II as an intelligence scout with the 106th Infantry Division. He was captured by German forces during the Battle of the Bulge, served time as a POW, and earned a Purple Heart. Number 18. Adam Driver. Shortly after the attacks on September 11th, the future award-winning actor enlisted in the Marine Corps as a mortarman. He was medically retired with more than 2.5 years of service after fracturing his sternum. After his rise in Hollywood, Driver began a non-profit organization that provides free arts programming to military members, veterans, support staff, and families around the world. Number 17. Bea Arthur. Arthur gained critical acclaim for her roles as Maude in All of the Family and Dorothy in The Golden Girls. But like so many other women in the 1940s, Arthur answered the call of duty during World War II. She enlisted in the Marines in 1943 at the age of 21 and was one of the first members of the Marine Women's Reserve. She served as a truck driver and a typist before being honorably discharged in 1945. Number 16. Pat Tillman. Pat Tillman was drafted by the NFL's Arizona Cardinals in 1998. He found tremendous success in professional football, but after the attacks on 9/11, he opted to exchange his NFL uniform for a U.S. Army uniform. He enlisted on May 31, 2002, and participated in the initial invasion of Iraq in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. In 2004, he was deployed to Afghanistan, where he was killed by an unfortunate incident of friendly fire. Number 15. Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood is, without a doubt, one of the biggest names in Hollywood. But did you know his career may have never taken off had it not been for the U.S. Army? Eastwood was drafted in 1951 to serve during the Korean War. But unlike those tapped to deploy overseas, Eastwood was assigned to Fort Ord in Southern California as a swimming instructor. But it was also during this time he made important Hollywood connections and, using his GI Bill benefits, attended acting school. Number 14. Mr. T. Prior to serving as the nemesis to Sylvester Stallone's Rocky Balboa, the actor known as Mr. T served in the Army as a military policeman in the 1970s. Following his military career, Mr. T put his MP skills to work as a nightclub bouncer and a celebrity bodyguard before landing his first major role as boxer Clubber Lang. Number 13. Johnny Cash. Before he became the Man in Black, he was a man in fatigues. Cash enlisted in the Air Force on July 7, 1950, and was stationed in Landsberg, West Germany. There, he worked as a Morse code operator intercepting Soviet Army transmissions. 4 years after he left the service, he moved back to the United States and found success in the upcoming rockabilly music scene. Number 12. Drew Carey. Long before he was singing Cleveland Rocks on a sitcom bearing his name, Drew Carey was a United States Marine. After leaving Kent State University, Carey enlisted in the Marine Corps Reserve as a field radio operator. He got out after 6 years of service and worked his way up the comedy ladder, appearing on several national television programs such as The Tonight Show. At the time of this recording, Carey is the current host of The Price is Right. Number 11. Alan Alda. Alda is probably best known for playing Captain Benjamin Hawkeye Pierce on the Korean War comedy drama MASH. For that role, he was nominated for 21 Emmy Awards. This is an impressive feat for any actor. But Alda had somewhat of a leg up, as he didn't just play a Korean War veteran, he is one. In 1956, Alda commissioned into the Army Reserve as a gunnery officer and served a 6-month deployment to Korea. Number 10. Ted Williams. Boston Red Sox great Ted Williams was one of the greatest baseball players of all time. And while he put up numbers worthy of any Hall of Famer, there's no doubt he could have put up some of the greatest stats ever had he not been called to serve in the military. Twice. He was first commissioned into the Marine Corps during World War II, then was called up again during the Korean War, where he served as the wingman to future astronaut and U.S. Senator John Glenn. Number 9. Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman is one of the most recognizable names and voices in Hollywood, but long before he graced the silver screen, he helped defend the nation as a member of the U.S. Air Force. After graduating high school in 1955, he actually turned down an acting scholarship to Jackson State University in order to pursue a military career as an automatic tracking radar repairman. After an honorable discharge in 1959, Freeman moved to LA to begin his now legendary film career. Number 8. Jackie Robinson. On April 15, 1947, Jackie Robinson stepped out onto Ebbets Field to play first base for the Brooklyn Dodgers, breaking baseball's color barrier. But 5 years earlier, Robinson was drafted into the U.S. Army to serve during World War II, where he also fought for equality. After several speed bumps and the help of boxing champion Joe Louis, he enrolled in the Officer Candidate School and commissioned as a second lieutenant in 1943. He also faced court-martial for refusing to move to the back of a military bus when ordered by the driver. He was eventually acquitted of all the charges and was honorably discharged in 1944. Number 7. Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix is often regarded as one of the most influential guitarists in American music history. Ironically, it was his guitar which may have gotten him kicked out of the Army. He enlisted as a paratrooper at the age of 19. He'd strum on the instrument to help decompress at the end of the day, but when his playing began to interfere with his duties, his platoon sergeant encouraged his discharge. He eventually received a general discharge under honorable conditions in 1962. Number 6. Chuck Norris. After graduating high school in 1958, Carlos Ray Norris joined the Air Force and was assigned to Osan Air Base, South Korea. It was there he acquired the nickname Chuck and his passion for martial arts. He was discharged in 1962 and began competing in martial arts tournaments and opened a chain of karate schools. His martial arts would launch Norris into stardom, especially after being cast as Bruce Lee's nemesis in The Way of the Dragon. Number 5. Leonard Nimoy. Prior to serving on the USS Enterprise for a 5-year mission to explore strange new worlds, Leonard Nimoy served in the Army Reserve. His enlistment lasted 18 months between 1953 and 1955. He was assigned to the Army Special Services branch where he performed shows he wrote, narrated, and emceed. It was also during this time he met fellow actor Ken Berry, who encouraged Nimoy to pursue acting as a civilian. Number 4. Jennifer Marshall. The Stranger Things actress and Mystery Decoded host served in the U.S. Navy prior to pursuing a career in TV and film. She enlisted in 1998 and served aboard the USS Theodore Roosevelt as an aircraft handler and aviation logistician. While aboard, she deployed to the Middle East in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. Following her discharge in 2003, Marshall used her GI Bill to go to college and earned her private investigator license before moving to LA to pursue her acting career. Number 3. Rob Riggle. With acting credits on TV shows like Saturday Night Live and The Daily Show, as well as roles in movies like The Other Guys and 21 Jump Street, Rob Riggle has cemented himself as one of Hollywood's top comedians. He's also the longest-serving veteran on this list. Riggle joined the Marines in 1990 to be a naval aviator. After transferring to the Marine Corps Reserve, he served as a public affairs officer and deployed to Liberia, Kosovo, Albania, and Afghanistan. He retired in 2013 as a lieutenant colonel after 23 years of service. Number 2. Bob Ross. It's hard to imagine this famous painter screaming at the top of his lungs toward young military recruits, but that's exactly what happened. Bob Ross enlisted in the Air Force in 1961. During his 20-year career, he would achieve the rank of Master Sergeant, be a first sergeant of a clinic in Alaska, and yes, yell at recruits as a drill instructor. His future fame and success as a painter would also be a happy accident of his service. He attended art classes at the USO and even developed his quick painting techniques by practicing his art during his short lunch breaks. Number 1. Betty White. This golden girl was a Hollywood icon, but just as she began to rise to stardom, the United States entered World War II. Like many other women at the time, White felt the need to help her country and joined the American Women's Volunteer Services. During the day, White would help transport supplies and messages between bases in California. At night, she would work parties and help send off troops deploying overseas. After the war, she returned to Hollywood and would have one of the most prolific acting careers in history, spanning 9 decades. And those are 20 celebrities who served in the United States military. We know we didn't hit on everyone who served, so please let us know who we missed in the comments. If you liked this video, do us a favor and tap that subscribe button and check out these other videos we think you might like on the screen now.